Welcome to my channel, American Newsroom. Subscribe to my channel for news updates all around the world. Edward Caniglia's story began with a heated argument at home in Cranston, Rhode Island, a quiet suburb where nothing like this was expected to happen. In a moment of distress and frustration, he placed an unloaded handgun on the table and told his wife, "Why don't you just shoot me and get me out of my misery?" It was a desperate, emotional outburst, one that would have consequences far beyond that night. His wife, deeply alarmed by his words and fearing for his well-being, left for a hotel to give them both space. The next morning, unable to reach him and still worried, she called the police to request a wellness check, hoping they could help. Officers arrived and spoke with Mr. Caniglia on his porch. He openly admitted the argument, but insisted he wasn't suicidal or a danger to anyone, trying to reassure them that he was in control. Despite his assurances, the police strongly urged him to undergo a psychiatric evaluation at the hospital. Mr. Caniglia reluctantly agreed, but only after the officers promised his 2 handguns would not be taken from his home. Trusting their word, he left for the hospital in an ambulance, believing his property would be safe while he was gone. But after he departed, police entered his home without a warrant and seized his firearms, claiming it was necessary for public safety, even though there was no immediate threat. They justified their actions under the community caretaking doctrine, a legal concept that, they argued, allowed police to enter homes without a warrant for non-criminal reasons, such as protecting the community or preventing harm. Mr. Caniglia was released from the hospital the same day, only to return home and discover his guns were gone. When he asked the police to return them, they refused, leaving him feeling betrayed and powerless. Outraged by what he saw as a clear violation of his rights, he decided to fight back. He sued the police department, arguing that the warrantless search and seizure had violated his Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches. The case raised a fundamental question for the courts and the country. How far can police go in the name of community safety, and where is the line drawn? Could the community caretaking exception really override the centuries-old sanctity of the home, a place long considered a person's ultimate refuge? The dispute escalated all the way to the Supreme Court, drawing national attention and sparking debate among legal scholars, police, and civil rights advocates. At stake were the boundaries of police power and the privacy of every American home, issues that affect millions of families across the country. The outcome would set a precedent for what police can, and cannot, do when responding to wellness checks, shaping the future of law enforcement and civil liberties. Mr. Caniglia's personal crisis became a national test of constitutional rights, reminding us all how quickly an ordinary day can become a landmark legal battle. The heart of Caniglia versus Strom was whether police could use the community caretaking exception to enter a home without a warrant. This case raised a fundamental question about the limits of police power and the sanctity of the home. Traditionally, this doctrine let police help with non-criminal matters, like moving a disabled car, without a warrant. It was meant for situations where officers acted as caretakers, not as enforcers of the law. But homes, unlike cars, have the highest constitutional protection. The Fourth Amendment draws a clear line at the front door, making it much harder for police to enter without a judge's approval. Police argued that if they could enter a car to secure a gun, they should be able to do the same in a home for safety. They claimed that urgent situations, like a wellness check, might require quick action to prevent harm. Civil liberties groups pushed back, warning this would create a massive loophole in Fourth Amendment protections. They feared it would let police sidestep the warrant requirement whenever they claimed to be acting as caretakers. Allowing warrantless entry based on vague concerns would erode the privacy the Constitution was designed to protect. The home, after all, is supposed to be a person's most private space. The Supreme Court faced a pivotal choice: expand police power for public safety or reinforce the home's special status. Their decision would set a precedent for how far police could go in the name of community caretaking. The decision would define whether a wellness check could justify entering your house without a judge's approval, potentially affecting millions of Americans and their expectations of privacy. It was a classic clash between government authority and individual rights, with the outcome shaping the balance between safety and freedom for years to come. On May 17, 2021, the Supreme Court delivered a unanimous verdict. Police cannot use the community caretaking exception to enter a home without a warrant. Justice Clarence Thomas, writing for the court, drew a clear line. Cars and homes are not the same under the Constitution. The home, he wrote, is at the core of Fourth Amendment protection. The justices rejected the idea that non-criminal police duties could justify weakening this protection. Wellness checks, no matter how well-intentioned, are not a free pass for warrantless entry. The 9-0 decision sent a powerful message. The sanctity of the home is not up for debate. This was not a close call. The justices agreed across the ideological spectrum. The ruling didn't create new law. It stopped an attempt to erode existing rights. Police must respect the boundaries set by the Constitution, even when acting for community safety. The Coniglia decision is a landmark for privacy and the Fourth Amendment. It reaffirms that the home is a sanctuary, deserving the highest level of protection from government intrusion. Without this ruling, police could have entered homes based on subjective judgments, an argument, a tip, or a family member's concern. The court made clear good intentions don't override constitutional safeguards. The warrant requirement isn't a technicality, it's a vital check on government power. Only a neutral judge, not a police officer, can decide if a home's privacy should be breached. This protects everyone, gun owner or not, from arbitrary government entry. The decision ensures your home remains your refuge, as the founders intended. The threshold for police intrusion remains exceptionally high. Your front door is, and remains, a powerful barrier against unwarranted government entry. The Coniglia case began with the seizure of legally owned firearms, making its impact on gun rights unmistakable. The ruling blocks police from using wellness checks as a pretext to confiscate guns without a warrant. Gun owners feared a broad exception would allow backdoor gun control, seizing firearms based on suspicion, not evidence. The Supreme Court's decision insists on judicial oversight before property, including firearms, can be taken from a home. This strengthens both the Fourth and Second Amendments, ensuring the right to keep arms is meaningful. The home remains a fortress of privacy, and legal firearms inside are protected unless a judge says otherwise. The ruling reassures millions of Americans that their rights cannot be bypassed by police discretion alone. The Coniglia ruling doesn't tie police hands in true emergencies. The court preserved the exigent circumstances doctrine. Police can still enter without a warrant if there's immediate danger, like preventing harm or aiding the injured. Justice Kavanaugh clarified, police can act swiftly when lives are at risk. The key is objective evidence of an emergency, not vague concerns. The decision also doesn't affect red flag laws, which require a judge's order before firearms are seized. These laws involve judicial oversight, unlike the warrantless action in Coniglia. The Supreme Court's message, outside of real emergencies, only a judge can authorize entry and seizure in your home. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision in Coniglia versus Strom is a powerful affirmation of the right to be secure in one's home. In a world where privacy can feel increasingly fragile, this ruling sends a clear message. The Constitution's protections are not just words on paper, but real safeguards for every American. It reinforces the home as a sanctuary, a place where families can feel safe and protected, free from government intrusion without a compelling, judicially approved reason. The decision upholds the idea that our homes are more than just buildings. They are the heart of our private lives. The ruling draws a clear boundary for police power, building trust and protecting privacy. It reassures citizens that law enforcement must respect these boundaries, fostering a sense of security and mutual respect between the public and those who serve. It shows that public safety and individual rights can coexist. By requiring a warrant, the court balances both. This careful balance ensures that neither safety nor liberty is sacrificed, but instead, both are honored. The decision is universal. It protects every American, regardless of where they live, what kind of home they have, or whether they own a gun. It's a shield for all, from city apartments to rural farmhouses. Your home is your castle, and the government needs a very good reason, and a judge's permission, to cross its threshold. This principle stands at the core of our freedoms. In an age of expanding government authority, this 9-0 decision stands as a shield for the privacy of every home. It is a reminder that our most personal spaces deserve the highest protection. The Coniglia case reminds us the Constitution's promise of security and privacy is not just a principle, but a living protection, renewed every time the court upholds our rights. The Supreme Court's ruling ensures that in America, the peace and privacy of your home remain inviolable, no matter the circumstances or the times. That is a right worth defending, now and always, for ourselves and for future generations.